Hello, everyone. I'm David. I'm here with William. And William has went to the city council in Fort Myers, Florida, to speak out about this. If you look at my short video the other day, um, he's one of many who's been to city council over this. I'm gonna read this devotion, then I'm gonna turn it over to him to tell his story. Um, he feels like he's being targeted because of real estate mobbing. uh, which Lorraine, if you're watching, I know you could probably relate to this. So anyway, having to relocate every year is a process of elimination. Perpetrators love it when we just sit and do nothing. They prefer us to exist on lower frequencies like sadness and hopelessness while they use our creative and joyful energy for themselves. It's like a breaking the spirit of a dog by keeping him chained while loose dogs play around him. Learned helplessness is a byproduct of this passive aggressive abuse. Each place we call home seems to get smaller, as does our world. We are squashed into mere existence while being kept as an energy source for the demonic spirits that work through our perpetrators. Their deeply embedded hooks make it impossible to free ourselves from their entanglement. The Bible refers to these spirits as principalities in high places. We cannot fight them on a physical level since they are spiritual beings and way too powerful. We must encourage ourselves to stand tall. We wait for the Lord to consume them with his breath of his mouth and destroy them with his brightness. 2 Thessalonians 2:8. Lord, punish those who try to oppress me. Jeremiah 30:20. And I'm going to turn it over to William. He's been targeted for 3 years. So, William, thanks for coming out, man. Thanks for being bold enough to speak at the city council. And I'm turning it over to you, and I'll ask questions as we go along.
All right, brother. Yeah, I'm William Bryan. I've been a targeted individual for 3 years by my neighbors, Chris and Brooke Meyers. I mean, I can go through, when this began, as probably with most TIs. I do understand that everybody's targeting is different. I mean, they've got hundreds and hundreds of different weapons that they use. So, everybody's is not going to be exactly the same. I mean,
Right.
mine started out to where, I was hearing voices as, the classic TI thing. I was hearing voices, and I've done a lot of research, and what I've seen, and the best way for me to explain this is it's like planting a seed. Once they get that frequency locked on you, it goes from hearing voices to where you're getting full audio, to where you're getting the torturing, and it just builds, it just grows like a tree. And that's what this has blossomed into. I mean, I had figured it out. Um, they invited me over, and before this, I was already hearing the voices. I was uh I was 101% convinced that I was possessed by a demonic being. I had no idea that any of this technology could exist, did exist. And then when I got to digging, I really, really found out the evil in this. I mean, they had me over to their house, and like, she was on the computer looking at me. She looked back at the computer. She'd look at me. She looked back at the computer, and she's over there, her fingers are going back at the computer, looking at me. And also too, in saying this, I've seen him with my own eyes operating this. What he's got is I mean, and he lets me see. He has let me see this. What he's got is a wireless ear mic, and he's got a wireless mic right there on his shirt. So what
Mm-hmm.
they do, once you can come in whenever, but once they get you programmed into the system's attacking you all the time. So they don't have to do nothing. All he's got to do is sit there with an earpiece and listen, and wait on you to react and respond to some of the stimuli, to influence you, and then they can chime in. So it's a it's a kill system for convenience. It's a kill system for fun. It's torture and murder for fun. When this began, like I said, I'd went through it, and I was having conversations with what I was 101% convinced was a demonic being. You know, that's where I was at in my targeting. You know, I still had no idea of what was going on. I went into flight mode. I took off to Atlanta, and I mean, it just got worse there. And in the research that I've done, there's that in the beginning, there's that 3 to 4 month like break-in period, I guess you could say. And I was just brutally assaulted with frequency. And there was like almost like like water in between my skin, you know, my skull and my skin. And I mean, it was absolutely brutal. But then you have everyone around you thinking, you know, it's it's mental stuff, you know, it's mental health. And every bit of this, targeting, every bit of this is just being covered up with that schizophrenia and mental health. And
And how old are you?
I'm 52.
And you started hearing it 3 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I mean, I didn't know it was going on, but
I believe the DSMV manual is all a crock of crap. And I've never heard of a schizophrenic male at 49 years old. It usually
yeah, it
starts
doesn't
in
happen.
males early 20s.
Yeah,
So definitely not
exactly.
schizophrenic.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen. But I mean, you know, I'm taunted. They'll be over here at the fence, you know, messing with my family and stuff like that. It's everything's just hid and it's covered up. And it's sad. They've had the local police come out here like draw guns on him because I sent all the information out, you know, around the neighborhood and whatever to stage it to make it look like, you know, a mental health deal. And in my case right now, that's what they're gonna try to go with. There's really no doubt about that. Or just straight up kill me, you know, I don't know. But you know, I'm here to fight to get the word out. And the the way I see it right now, the people, the higher ups that we have in government, that we've got to get this information to them. So any TIs that hear this or whatever, you've got to get that information out there and get it to them. I mean, I make it a point to mail off to somebody of importance, usually every week. You know, that's what I would be out doing right now if I wasn't doing this. You know, so we've all got to take steps towards ending this. I mean, this is a Holocaust. This is genocide. This is torture and murder for fun and entertainment. That's where we're at in society. And these people just move on like nothing's going on when you're being cooked with radiation in your house and you're being tortured to death by frequencies. You
Right.
know, you
Do
know,
you mind
that's
if I read something real quick?
no, sure, go right
When you
ahead.
said she was looking at the computer and looking at you, I'm reading this book. It's called Code Name Pretty Eyes by Pamela Ann Austin, and she has a picture, but it's this book is too hard to see the picture, but I can make it out. It says many of the hidden murder for hire participants are on the dark web, placing bets on which targets they want torture and which ones they believe they will kill themselves. The stalkers post updates daily, post videos of target being humiliated, or them breaking into targets' homes, or even stealing targets' underwear to post them online and sell. The system specifically designed for personality disorder people and knowing people who are growing fewer by the day could never face the full of what these predators do without being internally destroyed. Some stalkers may be calling themselves the drips, saying many drips make a pool. I'm almost done. Um,
Yep.
and it says, meaning two things. By many stalkers, the target is drowned. They contribute to the Bitcoin pool amount for the target's takedown. This was discovered and proven by a TI when they scoured the dark web for answers. Under the pictures of the target, some of them looking as young as 3 years old, it tells whether the pool for them is open or closed. People have opportunity to contribute to the pool for torturing whichever target they want. Under their pictures, some say video available, multiple formats, and others say taking requests on how to torture them or given opportunities to torture them. Others say trophies available. They have top pools, categories of targets getting the most bets placed on their lives. They have tabs on the sites for streams, DVDs, archive pools, underwear, face casts, Trophies request vintage. Under each target's picture, it shows the current pull amount for that target. And it shows a picture on here, but the picture's too darked out for me to show it on here. You know what I'm saying? So I was just wondering if she was looking on the computer at your pull. I just wonder, but maybe not. And I don't want to put that in your head, but that's what came to mind when you said she kept looking at the computer and looking at you.
Yeah, I'm going to be now. Here's what I think, and this is just total speculation. But I was already, they were still interacting with me, but I was already, thinking I was possessed by the demonic being, hearing the voices, all that crap. And I think, now this is just speculation, but I think they were zeroing me in for the torture, just making sure everything's locked in queue, whatever.
Right.
And let's let it rip. Chris Meyers thought, here's a guy I can get control of. Here's a guy I can get a chunk of his hairnets out of. Here's a guy I can boss around. It's the high school bully on steroids with the latest and tortureware is what it is.
Right.
They don't want to be exposed. They don't want nobody to know what really goes on there behind the doors.
And what you're dealing with is classic V2K, voice of God. They call it voice of God because it'll play different roles. It'll make you think you're talking to demons. It'll make you think you're talking to God. It'll make you think you're talking to your ex-wife or your handler, whoever. I've heard my ex-wife's voice. I've heard my sister's voice talking to me. They called me Patrick Swayze for 3 weeks straight because my side was hurting on my left hand. I had a partial blockage, I'm convinced, and was backed up for like 3 weeks, and my side was hurting. Well, I start getting called Patrick Swayze, and I look it up, and they've already been telling me I had pancreatic cancer. Well, Patrick Swayze died of pancreatic cancer. So for 3 weeks, I was called Patrick Swayze. I was all in the dither, like, man, my side's hurting, I got cancer, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, I had to bounce back to it and be like, hey, V2K's liars. They're liars, they're liars, they're liars. So, I try to not to listen to them anymore. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
sometimes they get me.
but you said, and it made you think. Before I was 101% convinced I was
Oh yeah, it
possessed.
convinces you. Yeah,
I didn't know this shit existed, man, or could
yeah.
exist. So I'm 101% convinced that I'm possessed by a demonic being, and that's how I'm living. That's how covert this stuff is.
And how did you find out about these weapons to bring you out of this
Um,
trance?
I was I was in bed and I'm being threatened, and I'm like, it all dawned on me. I'm like, it's the neighbor. You know what? I knew right then. I was being threatened. I was just being drilled, and it dawned on me. But there was all this stuff, all kinds of stuff leading up to this. That did this. I mean, when I took off to Atlanta, and I've been up there just brutally tortured, and I'm 1,000 miles away from them, and I just I've got to the point to where am I going to sit in Atlanta and die and let these people kill me, or am I going to go back and fight?
Right.
He knows I'm here to fight. He's on me live right now. I can have a full-fledged conversation with him right now. With
And he's
V2K.
told you he's torturing you, and he's asked you for
Oh
twenty
yeah,
five
but
thousand dollars.
not in that sense, but we both know. You know what I mean? But on his end, it's totally hidden. And right here, and I've took this to law enforcement, and I'll show you here. And they'll try to say it's my phone, but then I can put my phone to it, and it does nothing. But I mean, look at this meter right here. Look at this. This is set on RF. Watch. Hang on, let me it's ripping. There's your torture right there on the screen.
Hold on 1 second. And what's it saying right now?
It's ripping, dude. This is a recording, but this is your normal RF frequency is 1.6. Does
watts.
that look, you know, does that look
Yeah, and
normal?
you're at 11 watts. Is that 11 watts?
Here, I'll pull it back up and play it again, man.
No. Oh, I know.
Um,
No, I believe you. I'm just saying, is that watts you're looking at?
no, it's RF frequency. Normal RF frequency in the air, like me and you sitting here talking
Yeah,
right
I know,
now.
but it goes by watts by kilogram
Yeah.
usually.
Well, I've got it set on RF. These meters are great.
Does it
I'm,
say W/kg meters? Hmm. Okay, a lower limit of 2 AM is given for general population. All right, so you're way above that. Yeah, you're at 10. So
yeah,
wow. Wow.
this is
It says
around the
high
clock.
RF exposures can heat human tissues, causing burns and tissue damage.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I was looking for it says the most restrictive limits on whole body exposure is frequency range of 30 to 300 MHz, where the human body absorbs most frequency when exposed.
yeah. So I mean, that's been my life for 3 years. I mean, I'm literally being barbecued with radio frequency by these people for fun and entertainment. That's where America's at. That's where society's at today. You know. Or let's see if we can torture the shit out of him and get money out of him, get control of him. I mean, it's horrific, dude. It
And
is a horrific Holocaust in America.
and tell them what happens when you close your eyes.
I get he starts lighting me up. He can hit me with shocks. He'll start
See,
bzz,
I experienced. I've been telling y'all this for 3 years. Every time I close my eyes, whether it's take a nap or anything, I'm shocked, vibrated, and heated up. And I was talking with him earlier before the meeting, and he says he gets the same thing.
Now here's my theory on this. That remember I was telling you about the tree that grows on you?
Yeah.
Like as soon as I close my eyes, it starts happening, and it's every time.
Yep.
He can't just sit there and manually time
It's
this.
like it's
You're
programmed.
hooked. You're bingo. You're hooked to this fucking thing, and it's react like let's just say for instance,
It knows
if I
when your
look at
mind goes into a delta state.
and two, like let's just say, I mean, this thing is watching everything you're seeing. Let's just say that I look at a chick's ass. I hear a squeal every time. It reacts to everything you're looking at and everything you're doing in certain points in his V2K voice. I mean, it grows on you like a tree growing out of the ground, and then she can download all these different programs and what have you in it to where you're just tortured out of your mind. And here I am.
When you were in the
You
city
know, I
council, or well, could tell us about him demanding the 25,000 from you.
well, this is when it began. It was
Right.
blackmail. I'd slip back some, and it was that's how it started. I want $25,000, mother effer. I'm blackmailing you, and this went on. Man, Hempkin, we've talked, we went through it all through the V2K, and then I just quit. I'm like, you don't respond to this shit no more. Don't. I will here and there, but he was just demanding 25,000, demanding 25,000, because he knows I was getting an inheritance, so he's demanding 25,000. Then this went on. I don't know, 5, 6, 8 months, something. And then the tactic switched. And then it went to, I'm sick of your shit, like I'm some little 2-year-old freaking child. I'm tired of your shit. And then I heard that for 6, 8 months. And I mean, he is torturing the shit, excuse my French, out of me, why he's doing this. So their tactics just keep moving. Then it's moved to, you're a piece of shit. And then, it keeps changing tactics, trying to get any kind of control he can get. That's what it's about. That in response. I probably hear my name called I would say a couple thousand times a day.
How do you cope with all this now?
The good Lord, man. The good
Amen.
Lord. I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, and I can show you here. You got to get creative out there, folks. We got the radiation blanket, okay? I wasn't getting any sleep, so I came up with some inventions, some really good ones actually. I took and I built this helmet. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna pull it out, but I built that homemade. Okay,
What's
that
it what's
helped.
it made out of?
Huh?
What's it made all out of?
I I whittled it like out of aluminum, real thin sheet aluminum, and then put it together. But then I got the inside all
Oh,
glued in
cool.
there with some really
Yeah.
good padding
Because if
and
you just
all.
make a if you just make a tinfoil hat, my experience has been I heat up worse, But
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
made it more
yeah. This
sophisticated.
didn't like that. I wasn't getting no sleep, dude. I basically built me an aluminum kind of, out of thin sheet metal helmet. But I mean, it helps a lot. I take it, I wrap it in an EMF blanket. You got to ground it to the thing. I've got my little cap like you got. I put that on first. I put Aftershocks headphones on, and then I got my EMF fabric with that. So
Yeah.
with that, I finally had got sleep. I got sleep that way. But as
The
soon as
same
I
kind of
gear
fabric,
up,
silver fabric, right?
yeah, exactly. As soon as I gear up to go, lay down to go to bed or whatever, it's on. But I do eventually get to sleep. I take the Aftershocks headphones and put on here, and just stick the Bible on all night. You
Awesome.
know, so
Yeah, we
yeah.
listen to Bible. We also listen to handpan music. Now, are you vibrating very bad too when they're hitting you?
No, not that. It's mainly just frequencies, RF.
Are you getting? Did you start when your V2K started? Did you get vertigo, tinnitus?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
all of it. I mean, he's messed me up pretty good. I mean, my teeth have been cooked out of my head.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I lost a few that way too,
yeah,
where they
I
just shock your teeth. You can feel them shocking it, can't you?
oh yeah, you can feel
Yeah, I
that.
hate
That's the
that.
first, and yeah, and probably when you talk to other people about it, that's the first thing that goes. I mean, I'm deaf in my left ear. My head feels like you've just picked it up and slammed it on the floor a couple times. I mean, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Wireless video game torture murder for fun.
Well,
That's
I'm
what
glad,
it is.
man. I'm glad that somehow you popped out of thinking you were possessed and figured out what was going
Yeah,
on,
but
man. Because
what,
so many people
this,
never come out of that.
boom. That's what I'm saying. Your situation, my situation, anybody's situation could have went a whole nother. He could have had me doing anything he want. I could have been a Manchurian candidate for sure. No questions asked. That's why our government will not expose this. That's exactly why. You can have anybody doing anything you want, anytime you want, period, bar none. There's no other question about it, you know?
Right.
So,
And you said
that,
the good
that's,
Lord, is there is there any certain prayers you use or anything? I know Psalm 91 out loud has been a lifesaver for me many times.
I went for that 5 times this morning, man. I
Yeah.
went for Psalm 91 5 times this
Yeah, I
morning. Yeah.
can recite it out of my head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a really good psalm. I thought about it this morning when you kept saying that over and over. So that's where we got to turn, dude. We got to turn to the good Lord. I mean, we got to get this exposed. I'm,
Another powerful psalm you need to read.
yeah,
And it's the only psalm in the Bible where David cursed his enemies and asked
yeah,
God to. I mean, it's Psalm 109. Very powerful for people rising up against you unjustly. Very powerful Psalm 109.
yeah. I'll have to check that out, dude.
Oh, do it. When you read it, you're going to be like, "Wow, yeah, I need to say this."
But yeah, I mean, you know, pretty far into this, it was so bad that, and this is the Lord right here. It was so bad that I was I had bought all my stuff to go ahead and do what I needed to do to uh to take my life, dude. I was gonna take my life. I was 100. It was the torture was so bad that I was gonna take my life, and he probably wishes that I had. That would have been great.
Oh yeah.
None of us exposed at all. It'd have been awesome. But I had went to church, and I'll be danged if when I went to church they had gave a sermon on suicide. So you
Wow.
tell me.
Huh.
Yeah, it is. That shows you. I mean, I was there. I'd bought everything to do it. I was ready to go. This is the way it was going to end. And but the Lord had another plan. So I just doing this is just going to help get it out there. You
Right.
know
And I call that when God does stuff like that, I call it a God wink. God's
that
winking at us.
now that and divine intervention.
Right, right. I mean, I bet that freaked you out when you walked in there and he started talking about that, didn't he? That was your message.
I knew right then, yeah, that it's real. I mean I knew it was real before that, but it just confirmed
Right.
you know, what my belief already. I knew that I was going home and it was a better place than this for sure for what I was going through. But we got to stand up, dude. We got to hit these higher ups as hard as we can right now. We've got really good people in office that can bring this down, and that's what we need.
And I hope you're right. I tend to believe it's I tend to believe if it does stop, it's going to be people on the terrorist watch list only, and then they're gonna and then. But the bad thing about that is, and I hope anybody's targeting stops. But if they stop the terrorist watch list, there's many different lists these targets are on. So what if they stop just the terrorist watch list just to say they done it, and then the people on the terrorist watch list then start gaslighting the targets who are on different lists, saying, "Well, my targets everybody's targeting stopped. Well, why? So you're lying, blah blah blah." And I hope we don't get to that, but that's what I see might happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Sabrina says, and other people say there's a lot more lists than just the terrorist watch list that people are on. You know,
I didn't even know that. I mean, I guess they're just doing it for personal fun and entertainment now.
well, real
I mean,
estate mobbing is real too. They will try to get you out of your home so they can get it.
yeah, I know. I'm living it right now.
Right.
And it's what do you do with the Constitution? Just throw it out the window, I guess. This is where this country's at now. And I'm gonna stand up every single way that I can,
Yeah, and I
you know.
admire your
Yeah.
perseverance and your attitude.
I've got to. It's came to that point to where I ain't got nothing left to lose. All I want to do is get them exposed. The murder shop next door needs to be shut down. Period. This ain't mental health. This ain't none of that. No, they're over there with military weapons, spying on everybody around here, trying to steal whoever's savings account or whoever's property or whoever. I mean, they can do the most wicked crap in the world with this, man, and they got to be shut down. You got average everyday citizens with this weapon system, and they can have me out being a Manchurian. They can have the guy down the road being a Manchurian candidate. I mean, they've got to be shut down, dude. There's
Right.
really no way around it. So that's my goal, to get them shut down, get them exposed. It may not happen, but I'm not going down without a fight. You
Amen.
know, and he knows that's where I'm at, and he's on me live right now with B2K. It's a revolving door with it. You know,
Right. Do you
but
have anything else to add?
no, not a whole lot. Just I'm being barbecued and murdered. Other than
So
that,
anybody, any prayer warriors out there, and I know there's a lot that watch my channel, please keep William on your prayer list because God answers prayers and I know he does. And Ezekiel 22:30, God said, if one nation would have stood in the gap, which means called out to God on behalf of that nation, if one person would have stood in the gap for this nation, I wouldn't have destroyed it. So I really think it's important to have people standing in the gap for other TIs. which means standing up to God on their behalf, calling out to God on their behalf. Um,
Yeah, did you get a chance to look at the video with Eli Crane?
let me see. I have people sending me stuff constantly, and I try to get to it all, but sometimes I don't. So let me see which. Is it the connections?
Nah, hang on. Let me see if I can, I'm gonna pull it. It's pretty quick. I'm gonna pull it up and play it for you.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I met. Did you send it to me? I don't see it. I see Brian Colfern's stuff,
Listen
and
to
I see
this.
the TI connections.
Listen.
Security, and this hasn't even become very mainstream yet, but it was about different foreign adversaries using direct energy weapons against U.S. citizens. It completely incapacitate citizens of the United States. You guys might have heard of it, called Havana syndrome. And then we went down to the skiff, and we got a classified briefing from some of the people on the panel, and it was one of the most. I'm a former Navy SEAL, so I've traveled around the world and hunted bad guys for a long time. But I can tell you this: when I went down to that skiff, it was one of the most terrifying briefs that I've ever been a part of. Okay, this is how brazen our enemies are becoming because of how foolish, corrupt, incompetent, and I would actually say wicked we have become. And our leadership has failed us at every turn. So, this next election is going to be important. Thank you guys for coming. Mr. Chairman, thank you for allowing me to
I
speak.
didn't know if you'd seen that one.
Yeah, I seen that. And Eli Crane seems to. I know.
I'll send him all my information. He's got everything I got.
That's
You
awesome.
know?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I know another dude, another friend of mine. That's his state representative or whatever. I think it's in New Mexico,
yeah,
Arizona, somewhere.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've sent it all here. Rick Scott here, Meyers, Mike Stubbe, Cat McCormick or whatever it is. I've
What they
sent it
do? They
all.
just blow you off or what?
I just send them my information. That's all
Okay.
I can do. I send out emails as much as I can. Tell them this is exactly what is going on. I
Right.
mean, it's there's no, and if you look at a target, how or why do they just make it up and then everybody's got the exact same story?
Right.
You
It's not
know,
me.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it's not rocket science. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough. But I'm just going to keep pushing forward with it. I'm not scared of
Amen.
this dude. I'm not backing down from this dude. I ain't backing down from. I mean, I've been tortured so bad that I do not care.
Just
Of
don't fall in the trap and go do nothing violent or anything like that. You know.
Nah, I ain't going there yet. But I mean, what? I know these weapons are 50 foot from me. You know what I mean?
Right, but
It,
if
it,
that's what they want you to do, and then that way they can label
exactly.
you and take everything you got. So that violence ain't
Yeah,
the
I know.
answer.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm gonna keep pushing forward with what my agenda right now. Anyway, just getting it out
Right,
there.
right.
That I never could have thought in a million years that it could happen, but guess what? It's happened and it's here, and it's spreading like wildfire. So we've got to get it out there and get it out to as many people as we possibly can to
Old
get it.
fashioned Stasi tactics.
Yeah, to get it shut down. We got to get it shut down. I think we can do it, man, with the people we've got in office right now. I'm hoping anyway, praying.
Right. Well, I
So
hope so. And man, I really appreciate you coming out. Is there anything else you'd like to say to any other TI going through this?
you
Anything
know,
that helped you like come out of your thing, like when you first thought you were demonically possessed, anything that helped you come out of that, that you could give advice just through somebody that might be watching that's going through the same thing?
the good Lord Jesus Christ, man, for sure. If it wasn't for him and his word, I would not be here right now, and this could have went 100 different other directions. So stay strong. Just try to get through that day today. just one day, just try to get through that one day and move to the next one, dude. It's 1 second at a time in this a lot of times. I mean, it's brutal. I mean, I'm being tortured real bad by my neighbors. But I'm gonna hang in there and keep the good fight for
Right.
sure.
Have you been have you tried any supplements you know like healthy eating heavy metal detoxes, anything like that? Does that help lessen it? Because it helps lessen mine some.
Really? No, I haven't, dude. I'll look into it for sure. I mean, I'll
Yeah,
tell.
like every morning I wake up and I press I got a garlic presser and I got fresh cloves of garlic and I press 2 cloves of garlic, peel it and press it, let it sit 8 minutes. And the reason you let it sit 8 minutes, it activates the allicin in there, which detoxes heavy metals out of your body, which when they're burning you with weapons, metals act like a conductor and make it even worse. So
Yeah,
it's been helping me. I
yeah.
can see a difference, at least manageable to where you can sleep and stuff. Because there was times I was like you, I sat all day with half-gallon Ziploc bags full of water over my head and stuff. And then I got they got these things on Amazon. I don't know if you get your head heated up a lot, but I do. And they
Oh
got
yeah,
these things on Amazon. They're migraine ice caps, and they're like $12 a piece. You put them in the
yeah,
freezer. So when you're getting heated up, you just pull these caps out of the freezer and put them over your head, and it keeps your head cool. It
yeah.
don't block it, but it helps.
Yeah, I don't think anything blocks this wicked stuff, dude. I mean,
But it'll help if they're burning your head. It'll help keep it cool. It's like putting ice over your head, but it's a cap.
yeah, I'll check it out, man. I'll definitely have to check those out. I'm down with whatever works, and if it, or I'm down with whatever helps.
Right.
So yeah, man, I will definitely check them out, man, and just everybody stay strong, man. The more we got numbers, the more we get this out there, the more we can get this shut down. We got to get it shut down. I'm gonna be on them like crazy, but I already know it's Florida. They're gonna try to go, oh, it's a mental health crisis, and it's
Baker Act.
not. It's direct energy weapons, they're gonna try to cover up that they have these weapons over there, but we'll see how it goes. I'm still gonna give it all I got anyway.
Right.
And that's where I'm at with it. I will keep in touch with you a lot, and let you know what's going on. I am gonna head back to city council. I'm gonna go see if I can get 10 minutes with the mayor. You
Right.
know,
Maybe take some patents, find some patents of the technology being used
I done
and take
gave them all that.
okay, okay.
I gave every one of them a very thick folder,
Right.
of what's going on. That we got military weapons set up next door, used to kill and murder for fun, and we just act like nothing's going on when there's a whole lot going on.
Right.
So, I'm just gonna keep forward with it. I feel like the more you expose it, the worse it gets for sure. The key to this whole evil deal is exposure.
All
So
right.
that's where I'm at with it and where I'm gonna stick for now. So
Amen.
yeah,
Well, I appreciate you coming out. I'm gonna stop the recording and we can say our goodbyes. Yeah, keep in touch with me. And
yeah, but
man, keep fighting, man. I really like your attitude about this.
yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. And you guys helped me a lot, man.